Okay, Guyana is a country. It has regions in the Caribbean and South America. Now, the reason why I brought up Guyana is because they've obviously got a long-standing dispute with Venezuela over a region that was settled in the Geneva Agreement in 1899. Now, Venezuela is obviously advising that the land in dispute is not Guyana's, but is indeed theirs. And what strikes me about this whole situation is Venezuela complained that the initial border drawn up by the British was not only incorrect, but they obviously lacked jurisdiction. This resulted in the US getting involved and instructing a new border to take place. Mind you, it was not plain sailing, as President Cleveland's State Secretary Richard Olney warned against colonial projects, declaring that a boundary commission needs to be obviously implemented to settle the matter, and warned Britain that its ruling would be enforced by every means at the US disposal. And you know what that means. A war could potentially be imminent if Britain don't stop crossing boundaries. Now, the British gave into the demands of an independent team to draw up boundaries as they were involved in a war, which I could only assume was a kind of a drain on their resources. So by the 19th century, right, the boundaries were drawn up with a few additions to the original ones. Guyana gained their independence in 1966, right? So the matter hypothetically should have been resolved. Guyana gains its independence in 1966. Boundaries were already resolved in the 19th century. Unfortunately, that was not the case because successive Venezuelan leaders always contested the ruling. This dispute has obviously been long-standing and has only got worse since the discovery of oil. And I think that was discovered in 2018, 2019. Now, oil is big business. It is the most traded commodity in the world. So this has obviously propelled Guyana as an emerging market. And Venezuela, in my opinion, wants a piece of the pie. And here are my thoughts as to why. Venezuela is experiencing significant hyperinflation, which basically means the more money printed, the more prices go up. So as opposed to tightening the supply of the money in circulation, you're just printing more money, prices go up. Now, this is my opinion. Venezuela have elections next year. What better way to distract the people of Venezuela about what's really going on in the country on a financial, political, and even social level than arguing with their neighbor? Venezuela has the following crisis. People are leaving Venezuela in droves and going to like neighboring countries because of financial instability, political instability, and social instability. There's obviously a decline in oil prices. Venezuela has received various sanctions. The government of Venezuela has often been cited as not diversifying their assets and the mismanagement of their assets. So for example, when you're working with oil, you require a certain level of expertise, which a lot of international companies obviously possess, such as, for example, Saudi Arabian company, for example, hypothetically speaking. But under Chavez, many were kicked out of the country and were filled with loyalists. Now, loyalists to Chavez. There's been a loss of expertise, international sanctions, failure to kind of invest all resulted in the kind of the decline of the oil industry. Despite in 2021, crude oil reserves in Venezuela reaching close to about 304 billion barrels, more than 3 times than at the beginning of the previous 10 years. In terms of top oil producing companies, Venezuela comes in at number 25. So my take on this is that Guyana, the land in question, I believe should be just left with Guyana, and Venezuela needs to address the issues at home. That is just my personal opinion. You might agree to disagree. Your comments and stuff in the description. Thank you very much indeed for watching. Peace out. Take care. Bye.